quick.
You better eat quick when you get out there and get out.
It's so hot.
No, it ain't.
Marion went on the helicopter ride
I
one
did.
year.
I did.
I'm flying this year. Ride with me.
You driving it?
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm out of town this week.
When do we have to bypass?
Bypass.
Well, it's Thursday, so very, very
I would
soon.
say tomorrow would not be any too soon to.
Well, I got it right here. We're at 6 o'clock and 3 seconds. Let's start this thing. Call the order. Will you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do a roll call. Chris?
Alderman Joyce.
Here.
Alderman Hill. Here. Alderman Lawrence.
Here.
Alderman Falconberry.
Here.
Alderman Morton.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Everybody's here, that's good. Approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
7.
Approved in second. Any discussion on it? We'll call the roll.
Alderman Falconberry.
Yes.
Alderman Morton.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Joyce.
Yes.
Alderman Hill.
Yes.
Alderman Lawrence.
Yes.
Approve last month's minutes.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any discussion on them? We'll call the roll.
Alderman Joyce.
Yes.
Alderman Hill.
Yes.
Alderman Lawrence.
Yes.
Alderman Falconberry.
Yes.
Alderman Morton.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Next thing together, we got a public hearing, number 6.
What is this about?
Be the second reading of the two ordinances, the second and final reading on the state traffic offense and the moratorium on the residential development. Is anyone in the audience here to speak about either one of those things?
I can't hear.
Where did you hear touch us last time?
I was told 5 years ago that they're going to fix the crossing at Wynn's Crossing and Wynn's Court and Feed Mill. That was 5 years ago. And it's still pretty rough.
It's a pretty good leap to get down into there. It's a pretty good drop off, actually.
At Wells Cross.
Yes.
Y'all remember talking about
Williams
that?
Crossing, across the railroad tracks.
No. At Wynn's Crossing and Wynn's Court and where
Okay,
Feed Mill makes the turn back
Correct.
toward the boat.
okay.
And Chief, the other problems he's been having, apparently the kids in the Chargers have been using Feed Mill as a nice little drag strip here recently, and he was in the store talking to me about it the other day.
Well, it goes down Wynn's Crossing that way.
And towards Kenny G's house and such.
Well, everyone in the houses there had kids. You know, and it's scary to think you got a 600 horsepower car going at pretty good rate of speed.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I did. I have talked to the individual we're talking about. For sure we got the same one. I have talked to him, and I'll tell you what I told him. I've got a old car right there. It's got 106,000 miles on it. It'll do 140 miles an hour. He come in front of my house again, or down that street on Lawrence Avenue, going through there. That I'm gonna pull out. I'll probably lose my job. I don't care, but I'm gonna follow him from the Birmingham he gonna run out of gas before I do, 'cause I keep it full of gas. That's what I told him. He slowed it down in front of my house, evidently it's going out your way now. So I'll talk to the chief about that, and then I'll move down that way and sit way down there, where they can't see him.
There's a bunch of them that use feed mowers.
There's 2 or 3 of them that come through there like
Yep, they,
red.
one
They run
Mustang and
together.
3 Chargers or Challengers,
Right,
whichever.
they run together.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them,
That same ones were out at the factory doing donuts,
correct.
then put it on Facebook. Jesus.
So,
Well, I've got 2 Corvettes, so you know, if I want to drive fast, I can do that. I choose
well,
not
you
to.
don't drive fast. You like
I got a
me, you
four-cylinder.
drive 40 miles an hour. Come on, man.
I got a 4-cylinder.
I see you come to my house.
He could catch him though, I guess.
Right. But what we're gonna do is I'll talk to Chief Conlon about it and let them move it up there, because they've been sitting around a church up there above my house. You know where I live at.
Yeah,
Been sitting there watching them. They've been doing a good job. They've slowed way down.
the last week they have. I haven't heard them, but usually it's the people that come from feed mower and they go to turn back east,
Right.
and you hear them getting on it.
Oh, yeah.
A Chevrolet truck, especially, when it's under acceleration, you don't get out of first gear till 45 miles an hour,
Right.
and the speed limit's 30.
Right.
And you hear them go through 3 or 4 gears. The other way on Winds Crossing, or Winds Crossing.
I guarantee you.
Every one of those houses have kids in it.
I understand that. I mean, I got grandkids live at my house.
Well, that's me. I've
I
got
know.
3 grandkids that
And
stay with me most of the time.
but I'll talk to them about it, and I guarantee you you'll see a lot of presents right there. It might be sitting in your driveway if you don't care.
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
But I was going to suggest that they take all the stop signs in town out
No, no.
and put yield signs up.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna stop for them. I don't care what you do.
Well, I understand that.
Last night I was talking to the officer in front of my house. 3 cars come from the south and turn back east. None of them even slowed down for the sign. You know, so you go, yeah. And here's the squad cars right there. And they didn't, like everything else, we get everything in our mind. And we wanted to go here, and
Everybody's
you know,
safe.
and
I
I've
think
done it myself.
everybody's safe. I understand that. Back on the public hearing. State Track News Road, Tennessee. I read it. It looks good to me. I think we need to do that. Put some more stuff back in our city stores up here. The other one's a moratorium on the town Chatfield, placing a temporary moratorium on high district residential development within the town. What that was about, some come here and buy 3 acres and put 10 houses on it. We can't afford to do that right now because of the water. That's really the problem.
Did we get our wording right on that, Mark?
Yes.
I had the first reading of it, didn't we?
Yeah, we had the first reading last month.
The second reading on it right now. Anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion.
On both of them or one? We can't do one.
Which one you doing? This
Finish all that
ordinance?
stuff.
We're under old business A right now, right?
We're on old business, eh?
I thought that would do budget.
Budget, I make a motion to pass the budget. Second reading.
budget for 2019-09, 2019-2020 budget, second reading on it.
We have a motion on that. Force made a motion.
First,
I'll second it.
any discussion on it? Anything wrong with it, y'all don't like? I sit there for 2 days trying to go through it, and I can't find anything.
That's what my head.
Mark hasn't broke the town down yet. He must know what he's doing.
I do want to repeat the one major thing in there that we've talked about a little bit is the potential purchase of the bank building. And I did get a call about that last week, and spoke to officials from the bank that, and we talked about if the budget passes and the money is appropriated for that, then we could start working on a contract for that building. But
What was the number you come up with?
the last I heard was what was on the tax card, it was $762. If it's different than that, I haven't been informed of it. But just want to make sure that everybody understands that that is in there and is part of this, and would be essentially we'd be committing the funds to that if we pass the budget on the third reading as is.
It'd be in the negotiation with them too, is I went there and talked to them, they said whatever the tax readout was. Then they turned around, and I think I'm right now, I'll bring you back to the floor and talk to them, that it was gonna be whatever it was appraised for, which is about $60,000 cheaper. You're looking at 705 or 706, I think I'm right with it was. We're looking at about a,
It's in this budget? No, that's the audit budget.
it's about a, what I think it is, about $1 million building sitting there. And as we know right now, we're outgrowing. I got to copy the plans, I looked at those too, and we can take that center wall out and maybe put the 2 secretaries set between there, going in the front door. We can take those out, put posts in and whatever. It's a low-bearing wall, but we can put the posts in and take it and leave them in to hold everything up on us.
So would that be like a meeting
Right,
room?
the meeting room. Because the 2 meeting rooms is not big enough.
Okay, so there are 2 offices in the front, that big area, 3 offices in the front, the
There's
big area.
2, and then there's 2 more right in the middle, one on each side. I was talking about taking out
Okay.
the center of it.
Then there's that room where they all
Right.
sit food. What, is there anything else? The vault.
The vault stays. They're gonna take the other thing out,
The drive-through.
the boxes. No, it all stays. It all stays, just like it is.
Deposit box.
But the deposit, I
But
mean,
there's no other rooms, there's no upstairs. or
no upstairs in this one. The other one across the road is gonna have upstairs in, but they're gonna finish it yet. And they're looking at several $100,000. I don't know what they paid for the land, but it was a chunk.
So that, it's, as much as anything can be, that's a worked out proposition, provided the
Right.
budget passes.
Right. It depends on what they come down. We can negotiate that price. You know, if we don't think it's right enough, we still negotiate it.
But we
With
being you,
Well, whoever y'all know,
I don't want to.
I don't care. I don't care.
I was just curious.
But you know, what I was told, you know, they want to get it appraised, so they got it appraised, so it come back cheaper than what the tax roll-up was. And it was a tax roll-up was 770 something,
762, I think.
762, and it come back like 705, 710, something like that.
So what's customary? You can take the appraised value.
Right. That's what I'd want to go for, is appraised value.
Okay, so
You know,
what
and the tax roll-up, it won't mean anything to us, because we're not gonna pay taxes on it anyway.
yeah. Well, I'm
But you know,
opposed to it, you know.
I'm for that. I think that the city right now, we've got to grow this building. If we go into it for that amount, we'd be kind of, I don't know.
How y'all think we got broke this?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I am
I don't
all
think
for
we have
buying anything that's for sale.
Correct.
So yeah, I'm for it.
Correct.
But what does that building have that this building doesn't have?
Oh, it's a lot bigger building than what we got right here. You know, we have seen it. I've been up here for a long time, and we got people that comes into the building here for a city council meeting, and they're sticking their heads
Oh, yeah.
in the doors every which way.
Yeah.
We need to get a bigger building.
Okay, but as
To
far
do
as
that.
this building goes, it has 1, 2, 3 offices
Correct.
Two real big ones, we never even.
that we've never used. I mean,
Yeah.
this is wasting
No,
y'all's time.
but
I've
the only
I've
thing
buying-
about it, the other offices there, it'll probably all be come out and have like if it's a supporting wall,
Yeah,
we can take those out and put that in.
yeah, and have
Put the
a
post in, case them out, make where it look
meeting
nice,
room.
and have a great big meeting room
Yeah.
all the way across the front.
Okay.
Because I think the 2 rooms in the front or one in one end of it can be whatever, but the 2 rooms in the front would handle everything, because the people that works back in the back come through the drive-through, come in to pay your bills, come the front door or come through the back, just like you do right here. And it would be I think it'd be a good buy for the city.
Okay, too.
I mean, I may be wrong, but y'all can bring it where you want to. I know that if people gonna say, well, we bought a whole lot of, we raised our water rates up and then we're spending this money, but the money we're spending, it's not coming out of the water and the sewer, you know? And the people we're trying to educate them a little bit that we cannot take tax money to pay for the water and the sewer.
But does our city attorney have any objections?
No, and again, just to clarify, this is budgeting the funds for that purchase, but whenever the mayor negotiates a deal, or Mark, whoever works it out, that contract will come back to the Boma for whatever price it turns out.
I was
to be.
gonna ask the same question, so if we approve
No, I'm not
this,
gonna approve, I'm not gonna say y'all gonna buy this thing. Y'all gotta approve it before it's gonna be bought.
But the money's in the
Can't do it.
budget.
If
Yeah.
indeed it works out. Okay.
if we can approve this and still say no to the other,
Correct.
if we decide.
Correct.
This is a stupid question. How does the money cycle back in if we don't buy it?
Good question.
I mean, it doesn't, it just stays, it stays as a budget number. It's not actual money that is gonna be spent anywhere if we don't spend it on that bank.
Okay.
So basically, it would just, if we decided for whatever reason not to, we just wouldn't take out that capital outlay note to do to follow through with it. So there wouldn't be any actual money changing hands anywhere. It would just be a budgeted item that sat there until it went away next year.
There's still a chance, is there any chance of getting any kind of grant for a building fund like that, or
There historically have not been a lot of grant dollars for public buildings. There are some loan programs, through rural development, but and there are some grant programs for some places, but we do not meet the criteria for grants for those purposes through rural development.
I don't believe we could get a piece of land, build the building and everything for that price.
I agree with that statement. I agree with what the mayor said, that it's just a good investment. Whether we need it today or 5 years from now, we'll be doing a good thing for the taxpayers by buying this now versus waiting until we absolutely have to have something and then looking for a similar deal or having to build something.
Well, I guess for right now, we're just gonna say it's in there. We're not actually need to talk about
Correct.
it no more.
Correct.
Until it comes about.
Right.
Gary George, you got anything about this? You don't want? You sure?
I'm being really good this year.
Now, I'm willing to listen. I don't say nothing,
But I think if you look at the difference between the cost of renovating this building back when we did it, which was about $250,000 on it, versus that and the size of it and, and the number of years ago, that comparing the two costs, that's a bargain. Because the number of square footage in this one is not near as much as the square footage in that
But
one.
the only thing about it too is, up there, we're sitting on a prime piece of property. And they're not gonna sell it to another bank. It's made for a municipality or a gas department or whatever. And I think that the gas department might be looking at it. And I'd rather have the city sitting there right in front of everything, especially the bank right across from them. And I think we would be kind of, I don't want to put it, not to look at it, but we need to negotiate it and see Mark can do it, whatever. Because y'all know me, boy, I'm tired of tick when it comes to something like that. If I can beat my dollar, I'm gonna beat my dollar. But we'll do what we can do.
No, we
drink your coffee.
need to move on it as it
Correct.
develops.
But they're wanting a contract from us, but we're not gonna do a contract, and they give us a price on it, and we're gonna come back to the board and say, this is what we're gonna do. That sound good? It makes sense, I may be wrong.
Call for the question, I read the vote, is anybody else?
Got a first and second? Call the vote.
Alderman Williams?
Yes.
Alderman Morton?
Yes.
Alderman Falconberry?
Yes.
Alderman Joyce?
Yes.
Alderman Hill?
Yes.
Alderman Lawrence?
Yes.
All right, now, communication from me, I think y'all heard enough from me. Reports, Mark's reports.
Now there's a second reading of the traffic ordinance.
I think
Go
we've
ahead.
gone back. We've gone back.
Man, I'm pulling in the line there, here.
We've gone back.
I don't know what copy you got, but it ain't the one we got.
I got either.
I think we're catching up
Yeah,
on some
we just
things.
go back and fill it in the
Come on,
blanks. We're
man.
good.
I'm sorry, y'all run this thing. Tell me what this thing. I'm reading what's on this book here.
It ain't close to 7:30 yet, Jack. You're not allowed to be this cranky.
Huh?
It's not close to 7:30. You're not allowed to be this cranky yet.
Well, I ain't. I'm ready to go to bed, though.
And we had our communication from you, that's what we,
Yeah, we missed the communication.
From me, I think I've heard enough from me. I ain't got nothing.
so,
Couple things on my report. I'd like to point out, the Retail Academy, that's something that we wouldn't probably be attending or attempting to attend, but we got a $10,000 grant for us to attend it in July, and it will give us an opportunity to gather a lot of data that little bit better understanding of what retailers are looking for as far as the potential of locating here. And it will also give us an opportunity to, potentially get in the room with some of these retailers and potentially make some contacts to market ourselves.
Is that something you want a couple of us to try to go to?
Anybody who's interested in going, I do have a spot open for someone else.
When
to
in
attend.
July is it?
It is.
This always falls on the trade school weekend, which takes, or trade school week.
I think it is that.
Work it in.
You're already on 36 hours.
And where would that be? In Nashville?
Yes, that's in Nashville. That's the 22nd and 23rd.
There you go.
No, not gonna have it for me, so I'm still gonna be dragging tail those 2 days.
Another thing I want to point out is, but if anybody is interested, let me know and I'll get us signed up. The meeting tomorrow. There's a meeting tomorrow at the community center. TDOT will be here. It's an informational meeting that concerning the corridor 31A and some of the things that we've looked at. Some of the planning efforts that's been done by both us and TDOT. Would encourage everyone to come to that if they can.
What time's that one?
5:30.
At our community center?
Yes, sir.
Just make sure.
Here.
Our diabetes grant did not get funded for our playground. So we'll be circling back and trying that again when the time comes.
What about the training?
I've been,
The car, the equipment.
yes, I've been working with with Solid Crane. The quote that was sent did not include the time for the crane. So I wanted to point out before I actually went down that road that we had talked about it costing us a total of $1,500. And in addition to that, if we move forward with it, it would be the $1,500 plus the cost of the crane, and that would be dependent upon how long it took. They plan on finishing in one day, getting it here and putting it on a thing, transporting it, and setting it off. So how much more that would be, I can't say, but you're probably talking.
Are they just waiting on us to say do it?
They're waiting on us to say do it, and I wanted to discuss that in here with y'all before I move forward. We're talking about probably $3,000-4,000 extra dollars from what we
More than what it was going to be.
more than what we had talked about. I still think it's a good project, but I just wanted to make sure that y'all knew that it was going to be more than what I had initially said before I moved forward on that.
I think it.
I'm good with it.
I think we done put enough in, we need to go more
Yeah,
than
go
you
on with
said.
it.
Yep,
If it don't, it's gonna sit there in the grass or up in the trash.
I agree.
Let's go ahead and get it here and then we'll start working on it.
Okay. Listen, I don't think I need any official action. I just wanted to make y'all aware.
What is Title VI training?
Title VI training is federal training that's required for all of us that have that accept federal dollars in one way or another. It's non-discrimination training. We probably I would need to set up that same training for the board at some point in the near future. As I think that we're probably going to get more and more strict on how many people are need to have it. We've done it for a long time, for the employees that are here, we do that once a year. But I think that we're gonna have to start putting this board and potentially our planning commission through that same training. And it's, you know, probably about 45 minutes total that would be required.
That's a whole lot better than them other ones.
Ron and John show. Oh.
That's all I've got, unless there's any other questions on.
I don't know what y'all looking at, but I ain't seen none of that.
Ordinance 2019, 77.
I think we're ready for, T and B.
It's the one on that side, I think, on this one, because it's got C of T. There's two.
There's two of them.
Oh, okay.
One on the far side, yeah.
So we haven't gotten to C
That's
yet.
still the same thing.
Well,
We had to put
there's some
a
added.
but we just
T and A, B, and C, and there's T and A, B.
But we're still ready for B.
You still ready for B?
T and
So
B.
we gonna vote on the first, we got the budget voted for.
Yep.
Traffic offenses, we voted on that yet.
Still gotta do that one.
I knew I was right.
We aren't changing any laws on this, we're just bringing them to our jurisdiction.
Right.
I move to approve.
Second.
The first and second, any discussion on it? Call roll.
Alderman Joyce?
Yes.
Alderman Hill?
Yes.
Alderman Lawrence?
Yes.
Alderman Parkenberry?
Yes.
Alderman Williams?
Yes.
Alderman Morton?
Yes.
TNC, we had this residential development, I think we done passed that, did we not?
That's the first reading I'll pass.
This is second reading.
This will be the second.
Right.
And what is actually, it's just for, nobody can come in and,
They come in here with
10,
5
15
more
houses
lots,
or 5 more
15 lots, till we get the water situation straight.
and that's the ones that haven't already been approved.
Correct.
The ones that's already been approved are still
Correct.
allowed to continue on.
Correct.
For 6 months.
I was gonna ask that question too. Even the ones that we've already approved, all them towns have approved to, is there a deadline they have to have them built?
Within 6 months.
6 months.
Right now, or
We'll
the water
have them,
taps.
the run is to hold off building for 6 months is what I was talking about, but I don't know about the promised water.
What about the promise for our taps? We're waiting on these neighborhood bills.
Those are the promises.
They've been
Yeah.
promised, but how long can they sit there and not ever use them?
Because they're
Which
kind of
one are you
stopped out
talking
here.
about? We've got one that's out here that's before the planning commission that, the holdup is not with the developer, it's with the planning commission, because it's the first time we've had a planned community where they're gonna have a swimming pool area and they're gonna have,
I got it.
so that part right there, we're working on trying to figure out what the city's responsible for and what they're responsible for and how we're gonna regulate all that. So it's not the builder's fault, it's the planning commission's
But-
fault that they've not started.
Even these neighborhoods already been approved though. They've already been promised their taps. We've already got them set aside. What if they don't build? How long can they just sit there and not use them taps when other people are waiting on them? Is there
Well,
an amount of time?
Yeah, basically those taps have been committed, what's been approved, and so as far as their development moving forward, they're entitled to what they're entitled to under the state.
So they can
testing
sit there
law.
10 years and never put a house there.
Well, 10 years,
Or 5
maybe,
years
but
or
yeah,
whatever.
for a long period of time before they lose their rights to do it. But this ordinance takes that into consideration. Now, if things change, you know, and water's not available, you might have to come back and consider something else. But this doesn't affect it, and that those taps are committed for right now.
Some of them have been paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100 of them.
100 of them have. They're asking for 400, right?
I'm not sure. It's close.
But, you know, we
We were
hope that
talking about
this is.
townhomes too, in there, that's in it. It might run to 400,000.
We're hoping that this is just temporary until we can get everything. It won't be for a long period of time.
No, I do think we should put a stop on it. I'm not against that one. I think we should put regulation how much length of time these big neighborhoods have, because it stops the other little neighborhoods that might want to put 5 or 6 homes in there. When they're waiting on hundreds out here, it may not happen.
Yep. But
That bothers me a little bit.
what I was going to do, I was in here in planning commission, what I was going to do is to stop somebody coming here with 5 lots or acres or whatever, gonna put 5 houses in there in a spot. It's sitting in a pond. We need to stop that right now because we haven't got the water to furnish anybody else anything yet. We couldn't, I mean,
But
sure, we had about 3 or 4 inches rain, maybe 5 inches rain here. Our well is up. I understand that. That well's gonna go
It's going
down.
down.
August ain't got here yet.
Always does.
And that's the reason I'm saying we cannot furnish them water till we get something figured out where we're gonna get our water from. And we can't keep doing it. There's no way we can. If we do that,
But
we've lost them.
if they could get 5, they'll get 5 now, and then they'll ask for 5 more, and they just keep doing it
Yeah,
all the
absolutely,
time. And then they don't have all the amenities that, you know, the sidewalks, they don't have any of the planning, and it just, so, it's better to see a big development planned and how they're going to do it than it is just piecemeal.
I do want to propose one thing, and we talked about this last month, that this needed to include R1, which is low density. I see that it's not, and that language is not included here, again, this month.
And what I thought, what I was going to suggest is, I wasn't here last month, wasn't exactly sure, but if we strike the language in that 3rd line of section 1 and just delete it within medium and high density residential zones, I think that'll cover it. Because then it'll apply to all new subdivision plats in any residential zone for 6 months. But it will still, based on that last sentence, exclude approvals for development of single-family dwellings on existing lots or commercial development, unless y'all wanted to make a change to that provision.
I'm sorry, where are we?
So
Ordinance.
section 1,
Okay.
in my understanding on first reading, the vote was to amend this to also have it apply to low density, so R1. So if we strike in that 3rd line after the word plats, we strike where it says within medium and high density, then it'll just read all new subdivision plats within residential zones, including cluster. It'll apply to, the moratorium will apply to all of them. Does that look okay to you, Mark?
Yes, sir.
I move to approve with,
I second it.
with
Approved in a second. Any discussion on it? Vote.
Alderman Joyce?
yes.
Alderman Hill?
Yes.
Alderman Lawrence?
Yes.
Alderman Falconberry?
Yes.
Alderman Morton?
Yes.
Alderman Williams?
Yes.
We down to 11A yet?
Yes.
That's where we are.
New business.
Open internet forum.
This is something that I'm want to get y'all's permission to start, and it comes as a result of our last planning commission meeting. I had sent out a question via internet, and Isaac had sent back some questions to me, and then Todd stepped in and warned us that probably needed to not do that via internet, via email anymore, because we may find ourselves breaking the sunshine law if we continue. So I did a little research and worked with the Open Records Council of the state, and there's a way that we could have an internet forum that's open to the public, where we could post questions during the course of a month about an agenda item, either for this board or planning commission, and be able to discuss those things and get some answers to some questions that we need to know without breaking the law. It's not something we would have to use if we didn't want to, or it would be optional. But in cases like this, instead of doing that via email, we could set up an internet forum so that a planning commission member could ask questions and have them answered by another board member or by our attorney or by myself or whoever needs to answer it, and stay within the confines of the law, and it would be open to the public at all times. So I would love to do that for this board and for the planning commission, just so that we can pass more information and stay within the law. And like I said, it's not something that any one member would have to use or ever look at. It'd just be there and available to us if we wanted to use it.
Is it our expensive cost to do that?
No, I'm thinking that with a little bit of time, I can work with our web developers and set it up and do it through a forum that doesn't cost anything. So what it'll cost is the time that it takes to administer it.
Will this be open to public comment too? This isn't gonna turn into our Chapel Hill.
It can't be open to public comment. It can only be open to board members and administration.
They can see everything, but they cannot.
That's correct. Yeah, it's open for everybody to see and read, but the only people that can legally post on it would be board members.
Sounds good.
So if it's okay, I'll pursue that, and there'll be I'll have to put together, I'll work with Todd to put together a plan that'll have to be approved by the board, and then it'll have to be approved by the comptroller's office. So it'll take a couple of months before we can move forward with it, but like I say, I think it'll be good for us to pass information about some things when we need to.
Do we need to vote on this?
I don't think so. We'll have a plan to vote on as long as everybody's okay with me moving forward. All I need is a shake of the head and know if nobody's opposed to it.
Look into it.
Discussion on 507 North Horton Parkway.
Put a bulldozer to it.
No. I had a heated discussion with that lady for about an hour.
Anytime you cover everything.
Well, I won't have no more with her, she knows that. But want us to pay, tear this house down. And I looked at the cost, what we've had up here tearing Charles Rogers' house down. Because the city so far we're not through yet. I told her, no, but we're not gonna do it. We can't do it by the board. I don't think the board would be y'all's vote to vote. We don't wanna pay to have that house tore down, but it's not our place to tear it down.
Miss Margaret Nutt's children. Does she have 2 daughters or one?
It's Amelia Armstrong.
Who's wanting it tore down?
Should they want us to tear it down for her?
But they could retain the lot, right?
Correct.
Oh, but yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, but we can't do that. We can't put city money on private property. I tried to explain to that, she didn't want us to that. But I think she said that we had a agreement with her, the city did, we can't find right of way through there to go up that subdivision going toward the water tower. We can't find, I don't think y'all can find anything on that because it's not even on her property. But that was part of the agreement that her mother has told her. She's been passed about 10 years ago, I guess, or longer.
She got out of the army. She come out and she come to us and she wanted to put a bed and breakfast.
Right. She still wants to put a bread and breakfast there, but she wants to tear the house down.
Rats and
But,
mice.
But she also wanted to put a bed and breakfast,
Right.
next to Henry Horton too.
Look,
But I looked at that house today when I went back there. I went up there and looked at the city building up there today. And I looked at that house. The outside of it's got asbestos shingles on it. So it has got I'm talking about asbestos siding on it. And it's got to be took down by specialists and stuff. And we can't afford to do that, people.
well, it's not our place.
It's not. It's not. And I try to explain her that, but it's like,
So what is our next, or what happens next?
nothing. Let her do what she wants to.
So just let it like that.
But we're not going, we can't
No,
go on the property
I
and do
don't
it.
want to.
But we can, if we condemn it, she gonna put all that cost on it. And what's she gonna do for like then? No, it might sit there and look the same as it was. You know, and the people that's cleaned the barn down around that lot right there, it looks real good. You know, I'm talking about the red barn there,
Yeah.
up that street there, everything looks real good, right to their fence line. And it looks like crap. But
Well, maybe that's
I don't think we can
water
get into
back.
condemn it. 'Cause if we condemn it, we might have to pay for it.
So we just hope for a big storm. It's touched down like that.
You gotta do something with the lot, isn't that what we gotta do?
Cameras on source.
Didn't need that.
I mean, if nothing else, the lot has to be maintained, isn't that in our codes?
Right.
Todd, can you fill us in about what that process would be at this point? We've tried to, we tried to get it approved to as fire training to burn, and the state won't approve that. So beyond that, we would have to do what in order to, get the lot cleaned up?
Well, I mean, we can go about enforcement under the normal code violations for making sure the grass is cut and the weeds are cut, that sort of thing, and cite them for ordinance violations that way. I don't know what kind of shape the structure's in, but if the structure's unsafe,
It's unsafe.
It's
It's a good window.
I don't
Yeah.
think if people, I can't remember anybody living there in the last
20
45 to
years,
50.
30, 40 years.
Yeah, in my lifetime, I don't remember.
Before we live.
well, so the process would be to start is to give notice that it's an unsafe structure and that they've got, I think, 30 days from that notice to either take it down or the town can take further action to take it down itself, and you've got to give them a right to a hearing. If you go through all of those steps and give them due process and nothing happens, then the town can go onto the property, take it down, and assess whatever cost it incurs as a lien on the property. Now, if it's, I don't know how much the lot is worth, but you can get into situations where the cost to take it down is more than the property. Especially if I don't know if there's any other liens on the property or not, but that would be the process, is just to make the decision it's unsafe and we're going to move forward, and I guess the other thing is we're not 100% sure who the owners are. We'd have to give them legal notice before it was taken down, but
Well, the man that lived up there had two daughters. One of them was Miss Sarah Nelson, who was our teacher, way back when. And she had no children, so it's however many Margaret Nutt had.
She had two daughters.
Two daughters.
Two.
I think it was two, right?
I know she got one that lives in the house up there, and I don't know where Amelia lived, but she was a current on
house. Nobody lives in that old house.
Her
No.
sister lives in there somewhere.
She might be living with her then. I ain't never seen her.
But she was raised in Kenny by her sister right there one time.
Well, this might be shallow, but, can we just, without getting into all that, do we have a way to make her mow the grass? Cut down the weeds without even getting into the condition of the house?
You can do that separately, yes. We just issue citations and bring her into city court for
Is that
violations
worth
of
the
that.
trouble? Or is it more trouble?
That
than
gives
it's worth?
more lever to get her to do something with the house. Because I don't know about y'all, but you know, when we get them people out here with these white suits on, take out asbestos siding off and carry it and dispose of it in hazardous waste, we're talking about a chunk of change. We're not gonna do that. We don't need to do that.
But
You can't burn it either, can you?
am I the only one that says let's get her to clean up the yard?
Yeah.
Or try to?
You could do that.
Do we have any teeth in the ordinance if she does?
Cost her $50 a day, which could, add up.
Well, I personally would suggest that we start on that aspect, just getting the yard cleaned up.
I agree with that.
And not
Yeah.
get into the condemning the house.
I mean,
We don't get any condemning the house. We don't get
Right,
that.
right,
We
right.
Then we end up having to do it.
Right,
We're self and gonna pay for all that.
Right.
And then what we ain't got anything.
right, we've probably spent more.
We
money.
just spent all that money. We can't put taxpayer money on private property.
Gotcha,
We can't
but I
do
would
that.
like to see the yard cleaned up.
Correct. But it'll take more lawnmower to clean that up.
Oh, yeah. There's no question.
The guy who did the barn will have to come, Chad June will have to come over there and knock that down.
Take a man and mow that yard in front of
her
me.
best bet is to sell it.
It's a sanctuary,
Yes. Her best bet would be to sell it.
If it was my
but
property,
they don't
that's
have
what I
any
would do.
inducement to.
All right. We can have the codes man start writing their citation.
Just say,
That's where we need
But-
to start.
but
That's where we gotta start
if he
at.
does that, do our codes have teeth in them that
Yeah, new ones did that we put in place.
If
we
they,
can enforce? Good.
if they don't comply, yes.
Okay, but then let's start, I'm all for starting with that. We're trying to get it cleaned up.
We need to nod, need to vote, need a second, what are we gonna do?
I don't think we need any action on that one at this point.
Just a quick little side note while we're doing this, the fire department did a wonderful job of burning down that other house. I don't know if y'all seen the pictures, boy, that was ugly. That turned out to be some great pictures on the internet.
I didn't see.
What else was
The house right down there at the Lions Pool entrance,
Oh,
the old house there, that burned to the ground last Sunday.
While we were at
Water
church.
shortage, we're burning up to the ground.
I was sleeping.
They need a training, it's only in the county.
Are you gonna keep
You know, it looks like it
grass or
cost
you
us
gonna?
$27,000 to burn that
What's
house.
that?
Are you gonna make it a lawn or?
We're discussing that at the next Monday.
I know.
They made sure all the trees and they got scorched, but none of them got taken down. They're leaving the trees there. I believe what they're gonna use it for the next couple of years is worker parking. And they can leave the grass there to do that.
Because I noticed the grass, the rocks on the other part.
That has been a major discussion since we bought the lot by Miss Dottie's and everything. We got hit hard on that one. The other house that burned down, they rode our tail hard about that one because we cut down the old walnut tree that's there. So,
All right, ready to go to ordinance 2019-12, repeal business license ordinance.
Make a motion.
Well, okay, I'll second it. And then we'll discuss. I mean, what do you
Any
about
discussion on it?
this? Yeah, what about this?
Did it pass 100 years ago. And
Past 30
nobody-
years ago, we
didn't
have
nobody
the,
get
how much was it supposed to bring in if we taxed?
Probably bring in around 30,000, 40,000 a year.
So we're getting rid of $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
Well, we haven't.
But we've not been collecting it, so our choices are collect it or get rid of it.
Oh, rewrite, get rid of it, rewrite it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go down and tell, Mr. Boulin that all of a sudden we've never charged the business taxes before, but we're going
I
to?
already wrote a big damn check to the county.
Yeah. So that's what, as I understood it, the way it is now and then the circumstances,
So we are looking at to redo one in the future.
well, that's a possibility.
Where's this at?
Pardon?
Where's this at?
In Chapel Hill.
Yeah,
Which
but-
one?
It's a business license.
But you have some
No, we have
leverage on
here.
some things, because we're sitting there
They don't pay
watching, and
taxes
I
on business
know,
license right now.
I know there is a
Nobody-
business in town that
No,
they've
Chuck,
rearranged
they
some of their
can't be.
things, and they've moved their cars into the backyard, but they're still running a business.
They sure are.
And they're not being taxed for either business tax or the property's not being
None of our
taxed as
businesses are being
commercial.
paid taxes right now.
Not just to the county.
Yes,
But they're in the city limits.
That and one in the forest fields, that would too.
I hadn't been in Forest Fields, but I know there's one on the Main Street. And, you know, and so
They got a
there's,
business, I think we should keep them.
well, I do too. Well,
I don't want to tax them or run them out.
but I
Well,
would like some
The only thing
leverage.
about it is you got here I know it's a commercial property right where we're talking about. That was commercial property. He says he's not running a business out of it. You got junk cars in the back, all underneath the carport, and 15 more cars parked there.
He's working on
Don't tell me he ain't working on what cars there. And we can't,
We don't tax it at commercial, and he doesn't have to have a business license. I don't even know if he's got a county
I was
business
gonna say,
license.
why
That's-
wouldn't he have to have a county, just kind of,
Well, his business is supposed to be mobile.
it's not.
So I don't know if he's got a
mobile.
I don't know if he's got a business license or not. But I get more grief over that piece of property. People are on me all the time about that piece of property.
I don't understand that.
it. It is an eyesore. Since you come through and leave.
You know, but I guess, you
y'all wanna
know,
hold up on that, let me talk to that. Myself, talk to the man, woman that owns that property.
well, I mean, I guess we could repeal the license and then look into, see if we come up with a new one, you know, like, I see the wisdom of that.
Was this a problem in the audit, Mark? Is that how this came up back
It-
over?
This is something that, in the process of just looking through the code, it was noticed that we had a business license, or we had, at some point back in the 80s, I think, passed an ordinance imposing a business tax in the city, but we have no record of it ever being collected. So this is in effect a housekeeping item to get this right now, and then if we want to come back and impose a business tax, we can do it where all the businesses can come in and have their say and talk to us and all that good stuff. But this is something that we need to either get this off the books or start collecting it, in which we've talked about the fairness of starting to collect that as is.
I moved to repeal it.
A second.
There's a lot of businesses down through here that's got little businesses that
But then let's write another one and let them come in and.
it's hard.
At least have a hearing.
Stay open, let's pay the taxes.
Which would be brought up in a public hearing, I'm concerned.
Because every other city has a business license. We're probably
We're the only ones that wouldn't.
one of maybe one or two.
Yeah, there's not many.
Not me.
I'll say.
Any more discussion? Got a first and second?
Alderman Joyce,
Yes.
Alderman Hill,
Yeah.
Alderman Lawrence.
Yes.
Alderman Falconberry.
Yes.
Alderman Morton.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Resolution
the street lights, and I'm talking about just the street light portion of it, what would fund that would be the state street aid money that now pays for our street lights. The street light portion would not include one local tax dollar. It would all be funded by state shared taxes, and it would be funded out of the money that we're currently spending. You know, it would be set up on a note, and we could pay that note over 20 years with the money that we're currently spending. That is a break-even project, if not a make-money project, and it makes lighting much better all through town.
And that's still including all the buildings in our buildings?
I'm just talking about the street lighting project.
Okay.
When you add the buildings,
It goes up.
That goes up a little bit. I don't think there's a lot of cost in the buildings, but that is another project that does pay off over time. The only one that's a straight cost is the only portion of straight cost is adding the lighting at the park. But I do think that it's a good time, and that's a worthy project to get that park lit up. To do it as a part of this project, it would probably be the best time for us to do it. But I do want to make sure that we understand that the portion of the street lighting portion, it pays for itself, and it's paid for out of state shared taxes. It's not.
What was that lump sum we had to go with? Is it 500,000 or something?
About 578.
Is that in the budget, already paying for the budget? If we disapproved?
I do not have that in the budget. It had to be something that be a budget amendment, because I wasn't sure if we were going to do it or not, and I wasn't sure at the time if it would be in
So
this.
between it and the bank?
But you're paying for the bank, you know, like overtime, and you're paying.
No, I understand.
And you're paying for this.
Up front.
No, he
No.
didn't pay for overtime.
Overtime too. 30 years.
And over the time frame, actually it's less.
So the match you have to come up with it first, all right? One lump sum at the very beginning, get it rolling.
That's correct. You have to fund the project in some way, either with our own money or with some type of note. That's correct.
I could see doing the street
The
lights,
street lights.
and I could see doing the park. But as far as the buildings, I can't
I
see
think we
that
hold
right
off
now.
on that, especially if you get a new one.
Because especially if we're gonna get a new building, we're gonna do the other one. We can't.
I remember right during the presentation that one kind of washes the other though, Jackie. If we tell them we don't want the buildings, the prices are gonna go up on the other side. If I remember him saying that right in the meeting. This is a package deal.
You might
Right.
get a little bit of a discount if you do all.
Right, yeah, it's kind of how they presented it to us if I was listening right.
Yeah, and as far as, I mean, they're just changing out lines
Right.
in here. You know, it's not a big deal.
Do you have them numbers in front of you?
I've got them in this computer somewhere.
I know it's $17,000 to do the lights inside my store for just the bulbs.
Yeah, it is expensive. They're expensive.
That doesn't include my parking lot lights or nothing.
I'm like Jackie though. This building, wait to see what we do on the building. Because there's more than one building. We also got
Maybe we could at least have
and we got several buildings. I mean, you got the water
Sewer
department,
plant,
sewer
sewer
plant.
plant.
You got the water plant. Yeah. It wouldn't just be here.
And I imagine there's got to be some kind of grant to go to LED somewhere out there in there, Mark. I mean, there's got to be some kind of energy funding somewhere in there.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was.
Well, TVA
something.
come and when I got my new unit put in, TVA come by and done a survey, study on mine, and they give me new light bulbs. They done all this stuff for inside my house, wrapped the doors and everything to see how much, how much air was getting out of my house, and they did that. And TVA saved me about, I think it was $2,000 on my unit. See my credit card for me. So I don't do credit cards. My wife's got it.
can come check my house for $2,000.
$2,000 is a little safe.
It was.
Was it 5 years ago they had that rebate on all the AC units with carrier and stuff if you went over to one of the energy savers.
Right. That's what I got mine through Boma down here.
And then
Is
you
this
got
the
your
first
tax
approval, or
credit.
the second approval on the lights?
This would be first and only, this is not an ordinance.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve
Second.
We're gonna prove it omitting the buildings or including the buildings?
it. In my head, the way he described it to us is this with a package deal. What washes from one part would just raise another part over. If I remember it, that's how he
They
did it.
gave us two different numbers. There's numbers in there both ways.
This will help, if going to taking the whole town over to LED can help Mark get us a grant of some kind for energy savings. That just makes good sense to me. What we spend now, we're gonna save later.
Our streets need better lighting. Some of them really, really bad. This is gonna add some too. This is gonna add some. Yes. So I'm all for the lights.
The only thing
I'm
I
not
got
sure
to
about the
ask
buildings.
is something happens with them LED lights, who replaces those?
We do. We do.
We would.
We will.
The conversion's the expensive part.
I understand that, but the street lights we got through here in town.
They're under warranty. That's what he told us in the meeting. They'd be under warranty.
Street lights will.
For how long?
Building lights.
The,
There was a 20-year one,
Yeah.
or 10, 15.
the lights themselves have, I think, a 15-year warranty, if I'm not mistaken. It's the, I think what the mayor's asking is
Building
who's
lights.
gonna
Replace those.
physically do it, and that would be us.
Yeah, we have to do it.
And we're gonna buy us a boom truck.
I wouldn't, I would contract with somebody to do it, because it would be so few and far between, that it would,
We got the new ladder truck, a new fire.
Yeah.
and also in that,
Everything else.
also
We started.
in the proposal,
Every time.
in the proposal, there is like $2,500 a year in maintenance added into that proposal. So all the maintenance is covered in the cost that we've talked about.
Is something wrong with the boom truck we got, Mark? Is it not right?
Yes, it's down.
Is it dead?
It's down and
I know the new one leaves daily.
down and
It's been down since we
down
got
and
it.
might be out. I can't pull up that
That's all right.
document for whatever reason. It's not allowing me to.
We got a first and second, how we gonna do it? Any scope more discussion on it? We call the roll.
Alderman Lawrence,
Yes.
Alderman Hill,
Yes.
Alderman Joyce,
Yes.
Alderman Falconberry,
Yes.
Alderman Morton,
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Resolution 2019-19 amendment to engineering contract.
Make a motion to pass it.
I'll second it.
Got a first, second, any discussion on it?
This is a housekeeping item. The money in this does not change. It's the sewer project that we've been planning on for 4 years. The money has always been $80,000. It's actually paid for by grant funds. This just specifies that that's a lump sum total, because SRF wants that specified, so that we can get reimbursed.
What are we doing about the sewer one?
That has been designed substantially, and I would anticipate we'd be ready to take that to bid within the next few weeks. We're in the process of getting approval from the state on the design currently.
Alderman Joyce,
Yes.
Alderman Hill, Alderman Lawrence, Alderman Falconberry,
Yes.
Alderman Morton,
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes. Just want to circle back around just real quick, just so Mr. Stanley's here with some comfort. Are we going to get somebody out there to at least look at it to see if we can do anything? with it?
Correct.
Is that-
Wind's Crossing feed mill.
Yes, so right there in the curve, his house goes straight into that little dead end, right there, and there's this.
Well, you can see where they poured the asphalt and just made your curve, and they put asphalt beside it, but, you got a 3-inch lip where you go over each stuff.
Okay.
His little spurt gets some sweet air coming out of there.
So I just need to see if I can get that area included when we pay next time.
Makes it hard for me to burn rubber going out the feed mill, you only have a bit.
But the other thing too, I'll talk Chief Con and the police officers out there, the smoke, you know what I'm talking about.
Like I say,
We've
my
discussed him several times, so we'll be on that.
Get some autographs.
For other business, I need, everyone should have received the audit report, and I need y'all to vote on to approve it. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know.
You want us to approve it tonight?
Yes.
I move to approve it.
Got a first and second, we're in discussion on the audit report.
There's no new findings in it, in fact.
Those two need more new help.
So what?
How we good?
One thing that stuck out to me in your report, it said that we were 15, we need to be under 7, what does that mean?
That means that through the work that Chris has done, where we had 15 findings in the 17 audit, we've narrowed that down to 7 or 8.
Okay.
Congratulations.
And
He's still messing up.
he's, yeah.
We're gonna need to get those other
But we hope to have that down to 2 or 3 this next year, and Chris has a plan for addressing those too.
And I did notice that one there in one place over back here that said that you didn't have enough help in all this.
Segregation of duties. Every year.
Every year, but I don't know where the clerk and the administrative. I think we look at
I got a plan for it.
it. They took John.
I ain't ready. What do you think? Drill hard about between now and next month on this bank down here. We want that, we don't. I think we done voted to go to it, to look at it. But we
Thought
need
the
to,
consensus was we all.
right, understand, we need to look at it real hard again.
I look at it every day, you're right.
I do too. I go in there every day. I go in and get money every day.
I give them my money every day.
The other thing I've got is we got a check for our city council meeting. And boy, we was this close to me tearing that thing up. I thought I'd get the receipt. Please let us know there's a check in there, because I started tearing the thing up.
That was just we got a new server and everything.
All right.
Oh, so there's a check this
Yeah,
month
yeah, you got a
instead of-
check.
Oh,
You done tore yours up?
no, I haven't opened it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know
Plug it
that. I
in.
thought it was supposed
It's
to
a
be.
regular envelope. It's in
Yeah,
our-
it was,
in our packet.
if it
Oh, our
were written
check's
up,
always in there. Most time my check's in there.
I was just
One more
having
quick
breakfast.
question, Mark. Do we have a second water meeting yet, where we were talking to them? That's something I haven't heard anything about.
We do not. I have been in contact with Tommy, but I don't have any questions or information from anybody at this point.
I thought Ms. Joyce had jotted those. Did you not jot down the questions for when we had our little quick meeting? She's got them. It's her fault.
I am going to the next water board meeting. I'm talking with somebody about that again tomorrow. So I am gonna start going to that regardless if y'all get somebody from this board meeting to go or not, but I'd like to be recommended to go, because I'm gonna go regardless. So if I need to be represented Chapel Hill to be there with somebody,
Go for it.
Regularly do something?
I'm
No,
all
that
for
was just
that.
one time deal. Hey,
But we ain't getting nothing accomplished on our end.
It's
We
still
won't have to change
an hour and a half.
Yeah.
and
I didn't have time to talk about
I didn't bother to
that.
open it.
We'll discuss that another
That-
day.
That's not, we gotta do something different.
That and the planning commission.
But yeah, we just had a hiccup.
All right,
with servers.
100%.
I
Who
have
made a
one
motion?
question.
I've made a motion.
This is going way back, but remember when we had, the flooding?
Is that a good enough answer?
And we had several possibilities of things. I think the goal was to get it rid of it faster. Has there been any progress on those discussions?
We do have money in the budget for a project to hit the flooding. I have learned that we're going to potentially have an opportunity for some FEMA money that may be coming within the next 12 months to hit some of the bigger, more expensive parts of that, like that pump station. But I would like to, in the meantime, go ahead and get started on some of the culverts, ditches, and retention pond, that may not be covered under the FEMA grant. So there is money in the budget to start that.
So we as a board don't need to do anything.
Well, when we get to the actual project and what we're going to do, there'll probably be something for us to prove at that point. There'll be a bid process and that sort of thing if we have to buy anything. But I would like to go ahead before the FEMA grant potentially comes through and do some things that, like I say, may improve some of the flow and make it at least do what we can in-house, and just by adding some rock and doing a little culvert work.
Okay, we've had 2 readings on it before we adjourn, before we vote on it to adjourn. We've had 2 meetings on the budget. When we gonna have your third one?
The third one is scheduled for a special called meeting June 27th. That's a Thursday at 5 o'clock. And that allows us to get it done before the end of the year, which we are supposed to by law.
The what now?
June 27th at 5 o'clock.
I won't be here. I'll be in Gatlinburg.
Canceled it.
That's a
We're as far,
Thursday.
we're going to Gatlinburg.
I won't be here.
I'll
We're going to go to
be here on
Gatlinburg
the
and have it there.
I'll be fine. Come on right back. I got me one. I'll be the only one in it. I'll have it right in there. But I don't care. But I won't be. I've got SRO conference up there that week, so I know I won't be here.
Jack, you won't be able to figure it out.
Next week.
We can't, we have to advertise, and it has to be 10 days after we advertise, at least 10 days after we advertise that we have it. We could potentially have it, let's see, that advertisement will go in the 23rd or 4th.
24th, we can do the 24th. That's a Monday.
Are you gonna be gone that Monday, that whole week?
Yeah.
Okay, so we
I
can't,
leave 23rd.
we can't help the situation.
You can call in and have on.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be
I don't
here,
care.
just to have a quorum.
Only if it were to time.
All y'all show up. Okay.
Near that
If there's time, we'll come back home.
We have had a time once, not when you were here, but we did
Yeah.
have a time when
Y'all gonna be at.
the mayor had to break the tie.
We adjourned twice.
We got a first and second.
I approve.
Everybody approved. We're out of here.